Carmela, if I were to mention the wine Greco di Tufo, made from the Greco grape, where would you think that wine is from?
Greece.
Well, interesting. So today we're going to uncover the mystery of this great Italian white wine with roots in Greece.
Okay, you tricked me.
Hello and welcome to the Wine Pair Podcast. I'm Joe, your sommelier of reasonably priced wine, and this is my wife and my wine pairing partner in crime, Carmela.
Hi there.
And we are the Wine Pair.
Woohoo.
If you are new to the podcast, here's a quick orientation. Each week we explore a different wine varietal or blend like Cabernet Franc or Grüne Veltliner or Greco di Tufo and dive into what these wines are, what makes them special, and why finding new wines to learn about is so dang fun. Our goal is to help you expand your wine knowledge in an entertaining way that is understandable and accessible to regular people, not just wine nerds like us.
Perfect.
We also taste and review 2 to 3 wines under $25 each and share our scores and recommendations with you to help you find great wines without breaking the bank. So thank you very much for joining us, and we are proud to say that Decanter Magazine calls us fun, irreverent,
chatty,
and entertaining.
Oh my gosh. Again, like the visuals tonight,
I know.
honey.
If you could only see, if we only had smell-o-vision.
Right, he's practically up and doing cartwheels tonight.
Not really cartwheels. I can't actually. Never actually been able to do a cartwheel
I was going to say
in my life.
That's not even. Yeah, that was just fully made up. I'm imagining.
You imagine well. Okay, Carmela, we didn't wait too long for this one, but we're going on another Italian wine adventure.
Hooray!
This time back to Campania, which again is in southern Italy and is the province that Naples is in, to learn about this Italian white wine called Greco di Tufo. Oh. And it's especially important because we're planning a trip to the Naples area sometime in the near future.
And I like that you said southern Italy because most Italians believe that the South doesn't start till after Rome.
That's right.
So those of you who think Rome is south.
It ain't.
It really ain't.
It ain't south. Okay, now, Carmela, everyone should know all about Campania and Naples, even if they don't think they know about it. Because, after all, the home of everyone's favorite food is Naples. And that is...
pizza.
That's right. The first pizzas came from Naples, and the birthplace is said to be on a street called Via di Tribunali, or Via Tribunale for short, which we just happen to have a pizza restaurant in Seattle that's excellent called Via Tribunale. Mm-hmm. But that is the home of pizza. Now, these are not your deep dish pizzas or your pan pizzas or even your New York style pizza, right, Carmela?
You're right, honey.
But these are small, little, beautiful, simple, soft, fluffy, delicious
Not
pizzas.
really fluffy.
Well, I think they're kind of fluffy.
Really?
On the ends, they're kind of fluffy.
Okay,
I don't know.
Okay, a little fluffy crust ends.
Yeah, they're just beautiful. And you may have
delicious.
And you may have a pizza shop or two in your town that specializes in this Neapolitan style of pizzas. And if they're really legit, Carmela, they're going to have a little sign out front. And that little sign is going to say, Vera Pizza Napoletana.
True pizza from Naples.
Yeah, and it's actually a certification.
Oh,
okay. They train you and how to make.
You have to go there for the training.
I'm not sure if you have to go there, if you have to do, I don't know if you can do it online or whatever.
Wow, I would think you'd have to go there.
Well, I don't know. I don't make the rules. I'm not Vera.
I don't know either, but like online pizza school, I don't know.
Online pizza? Okay, anyway. We know you're familiar with pizza from Campania.
And where did you talk about going off the rails?
I know. I'm going to go off the rails a lot. But Are you familiar with wine from Campania?
Maybe a little, but not enough.
You are. But, most people would say maybe, but probably not. And so before we talk about what Greco di Tufo is, we're going to spend just a couple of minutes on other wines from Campania because, after all, these episodes are all about learning more about the culture and history and wine of Italy.
Well, this particular type of wine.
Yes.
Yeah, okay.
Well, no, the Italian wine adventures.
Right.
That's right. Mm-hmm.
We're going on a real Italian wine adventure, guys.
Into Campania. We might even visit some of the wine areas.
Oh my God.
I might put that on the list to Alfonso.
Okay.
My cousin, who lives in Naples.
Perfect.
Okay. We have actually done several episodes about wines from Campania, including some we're going to mention in a little bit. But I would say most of these wines are really not still on most people's radars. So I think we need to do a little bit of a refresher. Now, one of the great Italian wines is made from a grape called Aglianico. And we did our very first Italian wine adventure episode on it way back in episode 39. And it's often called the king of Southern Italian wines.
Wow.
And the most highly regarded Aglianico wines in Campania are Torrassi. But you can also find different Aglianico wines like Aglianico del Vuture, which is actually from a different province called Basilicata, and then Aglianico del Taburno in Campania. And in fact, 2 of the 4 DOCG areas in Campania, remember DOCG is the highest of the high designations that the Italians give to their wines. 2 of them in Campania are for Torrassi and Aglianico del Taburno. So 2 Aglianico wines. And these are big wines. They're kind of heavy tannins, high in acid. They're really good food wines, but they are not like for the faint of heart. Like
True.
You got to like wine.
Right. You got to be tough.
You got to be tough yeah.
It's like the mob.
You don't mess around.
Right. You're in Italy, people.
Hey, you want to try my wine?
No,
they don't talk
they
like
don't
that.
talk like that at all.
They think, hey, you want to try my wine,
Wow.
Tony? You better be ready for it. Tony.
Antonio.
Anthony, Anthony.
No,
okay.
no.
Okay, another great wine from Campania and also with a DOCG designation is a wine called Fiano, which we did an Italian wine adventure on last year in episode 105. And Fiano is a white grape varietal, and the most famous wine from the grape is Fiano di Avellino. And Fiano is an ancient grape, and it's been made there for over 2,000 years, but almost went extinct. And we talked about that in that episode, and you will see a similar theme in this episode.
Okay.
Just a little foreshadowing.
Why, you're scaring me.
You should be scared. Wow. It's like Severance. You don't actually know what's going on, but you have an inkling that there's been some foreshadowing.
Am I severed right now?
I might be. I think every time we walk into the dungeon.
Or am I outie?
I don't know.
I don't know.
Okay.
Please react to each statement in the same way.
Right. Your outie likes to do podcasts. Okay. Fiano is a grape that can be made into many different styles of wine, including a bigger style that can compare well with Chardonnay, and then a fruity style that can compare well with Sauvignon Blanc. Now, other well-regarded wines from Campania are wines that I don't really know much about, so they're probably going to show up in future Italian wine adventures.
Nice.
One is called Falerno di Massico, and it's a white wine made from the Falanghina varietal, which we have had and your dad likes to buy. There's another one called Lacrima Christi del Vesuvio, and the wine means the tears of Christ.
Wow.
And the reason why
it's getting serious.
Well, it's not that serious. It's because the shape of the berries, the grape berries, look like tears. That's why it's called that.
I mean, of Christ, though, Lord.
Well, it's kind of a high, if you want to make it a big deal. Right. You don't say like the tears of Tony. Hey, Tony, why are you crying? You big baby.
We don't even know who Tony is.
Tony, you baby, stop crying. Drink of your wine.
I think he lives in Brooklyn.
I think he does. Anyway, these wines are made on the hillsides of Mount Vesuvius, which can be dangerous, and are made in both white and red styles. And the white wine is made from a grape called Coda di Volpe, which means the wolf. And the red is made from the local Piedirosso grape. And there are also several other wines only found on the Amalfi Coast, including white varietals like Biancolella, Fenile, Ginestra, and Ripoli. And several of these are blended into one of the highest regarded Italian white wines called Marisa Cuomo Fioduva.
Wow. You've been practicing.
I have not.
You sound amazing.
Well, people won't know this, but I had to edit some stuff because I said it wrong, but that's okay.
Okay.
So what makes wines from Campania special, Carmela, other than the fact that, I don't know, I was going to say something, but I don't know what to say, is that they are...
No, that didn't work.
That didn't work. Are from some of the oldest...
See what happens when you go off script.
I know, I should stop. Okay, no, but they're from some of the oldest wine-producing areas in Italy, some going back as far as the 12th century BC. Wow. That's a long time ago.
How do they know about these tears of Christ?
No, that's a new name. Okay. Don't start conspiracy theories, Carmela.
Yeah, enough.
Okay, Campania winemakers are also often combine very ancient methods with modern methods and create some really exciting and interesting wines. You won't find a lot of mass-produced wines from this area. And their wines are also made in volcanic soils because Mount Vesuvius is right there and a lot of volcanic activity. And they have hot and dry and long growing seasons. So these are for wine lovers who kind of like a bigger wine, like a fruitier wine. That's what you're kind of going to get from these Campagnese wines.
Okay.
But you know what? That's enough of that because we got to get to Greco di Tufo.
Yes, we do.
And we have 2 Greco di Tufo wines that we're going to taste and review to see if you should add them to your wine list. But first,
you got to do our shameless plug.
you are correct. So thank you for listening to us and supporting our show. And now is a great time to follow or subscribe to our podcast. And also, we would really appreciate it if you give us a really nice rating and review. You can also follow us and see pictures of the wines we're tasting and trying today and weird AI pictures and sometimes videos I like to make on Instagram at the Wine Pair Podcast. We're on Blue Sky as well. If you're curious about that, we post differently and more frequently there than we do on Instagram, so check that out. You can also contact us on our website, thewinepairpodcast.com. You can sign up for our email newsletter there. We send it out at the beginning of each month. So in case you're worried, hey, I just missed it, you can always email me at joe@thewinepairpodcast.com and I'll send it to you hand delivered.
What?
White glove hand delivered.
No.
I will.
Are you traveling this week?
No, yes, I am. And then we also have a little spot on the website called Shop Wine, and you can click on wines, our highest rated wines that we rate 7 and above, which means that we would buy them, and we get a little, and you get paid.
And you get the wine.
You get the wine, and you pay the same price you would anyway. We also want to make content that you care about and you like, so send us a note and tell us what you like, what you don't like, if there's wines you want us to try, or wine-making areas of the world you're curious about, and we'll take care of it. And I have to give a huge shout-out to Dave Baxter, who reached out to us on Instagram and gave a super thoughtful, thorough, and I would say well-informed response to our, and I should say my, disparagement of Trader Joe's in our last episode. If you're out there in listening land, go to our Instagram, look at his response. It was super thoughtful, it was super positive. I really appreciated it. And I thought that the amount of time that he took to think through that and respond to us was quite amazing. Yeah. It was amazing. So Dave, kudos to you. And it's really fun to learn something new from our listeners. And also sometimes it's kind of fun to get schooled a little bit. I got schooled.
Well, he just knew his stuff. He knew what he was talking about.
He knew his shit.
He was sharing.
He was sharing his shit.
Yeah.
Okay.
Sharing is caring.
Yeah, that's right. Do. That's true. Yes.
Very true.
And as we do every week, we'll tell you someone we think you should recommend the Wine Pair Podcast to, because that's the best way for us to get new listeners. And this week, we want you to recommend us to anyone who loves finding new white wines to try, because this may be a really exciting wine for them to check out.
Agree.
So, Carmela, let's learn just what the Greco di Tufo is.
Okay, let's do it. I'm ready. I've been waiting here.
For hours.
Well, I'm getting, a little antsy.
Antsy in your pantsy.
Wow.
Okay, Greco di Tufo is a wine that's been made in the Campania area, as I said, for thousands of years. And as we mentioned in the introduction, the Greeks are believed to have brought the wine to Campania over 2,500 years ago.
Crazy. That was awfully nice.
That was nice.
Was it like a hostess gift? Or
well, they were kind of conquered the area. So it was really more like, hey, here we are, and here's our wine. I don't know how to do a Greek accent. I have no idea.
That was
that was not
offensive.
Yeah,
maybe
exactly.
A little offensive.
Anyway, but that's where the Greco comes from. Greco. Now, Tufo is in reference to the town of Tufo, near where the wine is produced. But also, the name Tufo in the town comes from the word tuff, Tuff. So not like me tough, but
right. Don't get confused.
That's
people.
right. Tuff is the soft volcanic rock that's found in the soil in the region. And the soil is one of the things that's said to give the wine its unique character.
Okay.
So the Romans were also fans of this grape, which they called the nectar of the gods.
My goodness.
High bar. Tears of Christ, nectar of the gods. What next?
I was saying, what gets any better than that?
I don't know.
This is going to blow us away.
It's blow us away.
Yeah.
Okay. No, it's believed that the Romans used it as a blending grape in some of the ancient Roman cult wines. And so, these were wines that were associated with wealth and status, kind of like cult wines today. So the wines that like the fancy pants, or I should say the fancy togas would wear.
True.
And so this is an old wine with a lot of history and importance in the Campania area. And maybe even there's a cult or two associated with it. So there you go.
Oh, boy,
yeah,
okay.
That's kind of cool. Okay. Now, interestingly enough, I kind of mentioned this, but after World War II, Greco was a grape, like many wine grapes in southern Italy, that nearly went extinct. And here's why. It's because the war wreaked havoc on the vineyards. And also, many southern Italians left for better work options, like our, our family left before the World War II, but, a lot of people did that. They moved up north.
True.
They were looking for better opportunities. And so there was a major decline in winemaking in the area. There are just fewer people left to make the wine. So thankfully, small and family winemakers in the area, as well as what are called heritage winemaking projects, help keep the wine from disappearing. And we are benefactors of that today. In fact, they did such a good job of keeping the wine alive that in 2003, the wines from Tufo and several surrounding communities were given this DOCG status and labeled Greco di Tufo. And the sort of unusual thing about this wine that I think is kind of cool is that it is named for both the region and the grape. So remember, a lot of times in Europe, wines are named after the region they're from, like Barolo and Chianti or Taurasi, rather than the grape. And so that can be really confusing because you don't know, like...
So they've just confused us again.
No, actually, in this case, they didn't confuse us because they call it Greco di Tufo. So it's the grape and the region. It's kind of perfect. They let you know exactly where the wine is from. So I kind of like that. Now, Greco di Tufo Carmela has to be made from at least 85% Greco grapes, and up to 15% of it can be blended with this other grape that we mentioned, Coda di Volpa Bianca. And
Love that.
Yeah, and most of the time the wine is fermented in stainless steel, and it doesn't undergo malolactic fermentation, which means it's to be a nice, crisp, acidic wine. And for a little reminder on what malolactic fermentation is, it's a process that winemakers sometimes use to decrease acid in the wine and make it a little softer. It can make it a little buttery too. So Chardonnays often go through malolactic fermentation. But when they don't do it, it's really acidy and crispy.
Ooh, right up our alley.
Yes, you are right. But sometimes, Carmela, winemakers will make a version of the wine that's aged on the lees. And in fact, one of the wines that we're tasting today is aged on the lees. That means the dead yeast and other things that are left over. And they do that to add a little creaminess sometimes of the wine. And they sometimes make a sparkling wine from it as well, which is kind of fun in the way that they make champagne. Now, the area of Greco di Tufo is about an hour's drive from the city of Naples. And it's in the same area called Irpinia, which is where Taurasi is from. That's that Aglianico grape. And also Fiano di Avellino. So 3 of the really great, like Campagnese grape wines are from that area.
Are they related?
They may be cousins. Knowing the fact that they're Italian, they're probably cousins.
Right.
They probably know each other. If they weren't cousins, they called each other cousin.
Exactly. They'd be like, hey, cousin. Right?
That's more the Brooklyn. You have to say it in an Italian way.
Hey, cugini.
There you go. But the city of Tufo, back to Greco di Tufo.
Okay.
The city of Tufo is a teeny tiny little town. It's about 1,000 people.
Oh.
So maybe we'll go there. I don't know. Now, the area of Irpinia, remember when you said I was going to go off the rails?
You have a couple of times.
I'm about to go off the rails. Okay. It's famous for a few other things other than wine. For one, there are some well-known cheeses from the area. Not Jesus, but cheese. Not Lacrima Christi. But cheeses, not Jesus. Okay? I know it can be sometimes difficult.
We're going to get some flack for that.
Oh. No. Anyway, scamorza. You know that, like, it looks like a mozzarella, but it's smoked?
Mozzarella?
Okay. And also, caciocavallo. That's also from that's cheese.
Okay, it's a horse cheese?
Oh, boy. Anyway.
Wait, you said, say it again. Say it again.
It's called caciocavallo.
Pepper horse.
Pepper horse. I don't know.
Pepper cheese.
I'm not responsible for it. It's just
you didn't look it up?
Oh, boy. You can look it up. Okay. They're also known for the salame soppressata.
Ooh, we like it.
They're also famous for chestnuts and hazelnuts and black truffles called Bagnoli Irpino.
Okay.
And another thing that they are known for, Carmela, are ancient castles and towns, and some towns including... Oh wait, she found it.
Okay, I'm telling you.
Okay, listen.
This is amazing.
This is fresh. This is like unscripted at its best.
It's always unscripted for me.
Okay.
So we've gotten, my parents have bought these before. It is wrapped in some sort of, it's like filled, well, let's see, semi-hard Italian pasta filata cheese with a sharp, tangy flavor and a distinctive pear-like shape. I do think there's like a buttery, soft filling.
Almost like a burrata.
Yeah. No, it's not like that. Burrata is very soft in the middle. It's more of like a butter in the middle, I think. Anyway, cacciocavallo. Yep, okay. I see it. All right, moving on.
Okay, now the really random part, okay?
That was pretty random.
But this is really random. They're also known, again, for ancient castles and towns, and some towns, including the town of Gesualdo, which is where the famous musician and composer Carlo Gesualdo was from.
Ah, Carlo.
And because I'm a music nerd, I'm really going to digress. If you've never heard of Carlo Gesualdo, he is one of my favorite composers. He made songs called madrigals, which are usually 4-part, sometimes more part male harmony. And Gesualdo is considered the father of madrigals. And the songs are amazing.
And put you to sleep.
No, they're super moving. They're very religious, and they had a huge impact on modern music and on me. And incidentally, he's also known for something else. He killed his first wife and her lover.
Amazing.
Because he found them in flagrante delicto. Do you know what that means?
Flagrante delicto. Mm-hmm. I don't know, doing something they weren't supposed to do, apparently.
He caught them doing the deed.
That's how you say doing the deed?
In Latin.
Wow.
And so because of that, he killed them, and I guess it's okay.
Yeah, it's fine.
It was okay.
I don't know what else you do, but...
So he's complicated. Let's just say that he made beautiful religious music and killed his wife and her lover.
I don't know about all this.
What does this have to do with Greco di Tufo, you may ask, Carmela?
I'm puzzled.
Nothing. It has nothing to do with it other than this is what I really love about learning about wine and the area and the history and everything, because you can sometimes pick up some really interesting stuff. Yeah. It's not just about drinking the wine and getting drunk. It's about understanding the history and the culture.
Okay, back to the grapes.
In flagrante delicto.
My goodness.
Back to the grapes.
Watch out, anybody.
Here we go. She's stuck on the...
Oh, sorry. I'm still looking at the cheese.
Oh, okay. Anyway,
Cacciocavallo.
Should we learn a little bit more about the specific wines we're drinking today?
Yeah, I'm down.
Let's do that. Now, all the wines we have chosen for this episode are under $25 on average, although one of them was a bit higher in cost and one was lower. So the average worked out. And while I bought them both at a local wine shop here in Seattle called Esquin or Mad Wine, at least one of them should be relatively easy to find because I saw it on wine.com. And it's also made by a prolific producer of Italian wines. Now, you probably won't find Greco di Tufo in your local 7-Eleven. Let's just put it that way.
Okay.
But if you go to a wine shop with a decent wine selection or that specializes in Italian wine or has a good Italian wine selection, you should definitely be able to find it. And as we always say, go to your local wine shop, talk to the shopkeeper there and say, hey, Tony, can you get me some Greco di Tufo?
No, that's not.
Even if her name is not Tony.
Right.
Yeah, I had a woman cousin named Tony.
But was it Antonella or something?
Antonia, I think it was. Yeah. Okay. The first wine we're going to drink is the 2021 Vinosìa Greco di Tufo L'Ariela. And this was a wine that was super hard to find any information about.
Super hard to say, apparently.
Again, in editing, you won't know that, but it took me about 15 takes to do that. So I'm going to talk a little bit about the Vinosìa winery because I don't have much else to talk about. The winery is partially excavated into a hill about 2,000 feet or 630 meters above sea level, and they focus on low environmental impact, energy efficiency, and sustainable farming. So that's cool. That's good stuff. Cool. So this, again, is one of those places where that's actually an ancient winemaking practice, but now it's becoming modern again. Mm-hmm. They've been making wine there for 3 generations, and the current owner, Luciano Eccolino, is the grandson of the founder. And then they have a cellar. Their winery cellar is located several meters below the surface. And they did that to create a naturally cooler climate for their wine storage. And they focus on the use of French oak, which we've mentioned many times has a softer flavor than American oak. But I can't tell you much more, so we're going to go on to our last wine, which is the 2020 Feudi di San Gregorio Greco di Tufo, which Wine Enthusiast has called a crazy food-friendly wine, which could mean a few different things.
It's crazy.
It could be it's for crazy food, or it could be crazy good with food. I don't know.
We'll find out.
But it's an interesting quote. Anyway, this wine has gotten some good ratings from like Wine Enthusiast and Robert Parker and also Sucky James Suckling. Guess what? What rating James Suckling gave the wine?
Let me guess. A 90.
It was a 90.
Of course.
Surprising. Shocking. Just as a reminder, we don't trust his ratings. If you see a 90 rating from James Suckling, move along.
Right.
Just move along. Okay. Feudi di San Gregorio is a large winery and a large wine exporter. So if you're going to find a Greco di Tufo, you're probably going to find it from them. The wine had a tech sheet. It wasn't a great tech sheet, but it's better than nothing. It's fermented in stainless steel. And this is the one that spends 4 months in stainless steel on the lees before it's bottled. So it may have a little bit of body, a little bit of creaminess to it.
Okay.
I did find out a little bit about the winemaker behind the wine, and it's a man called Pierpaolo Search. And there's a link to the article in our show notes. Did you know we have show notes?
We do?
Yeah, so if you go to this episode on our website and you find the episode and you click down, you can find our show notes.
One of these days.
One of these days. And evidently he is a much sought after flying winemaker. Flying winemaker means somebody who goes all over the place because he's they want to learn from his winemaking. And he focuses on a technique called gentle pruning. Now that sounds nice, gentle pruning. And he's partners with another Italian man named Marco Simonite. And they train vineyard owners on this pruning technique that Simonite created.
And it's gentle.
Well, and he kind of created it, but it's actually ancient. So for a little bit of background, I'm not going to drain the topic. Pruning takes place before the spring. So it's something that would be happening like right now in Italy. And it's one of the more important activities that they do in a vineyard to make sure that it's healthy, because they want to make sure that the vines are growing in a healthy way. And so their technique is to handle each vine individually, make small cuts, and be really aware of how the sap flows in the plants. And their goal is to reduce dead wood and disease.
Wow.
Now, he came up with the technique because he was noticing that a lot of vineyards were starting to use mechanical techniques. So they'd use these machines and they'd kind of cut everything the same way. And what he was noticing is that because of this sort of not very careful pruning technique or not very selective pruning technique, that a lot of vineyards were having to pull up their vines after about 20 years and replant them because the plants weren't doing that well. And so the goal here with this pruning technique, this gentle pruning technique, is to create vineyards that can use the same vines for decades and decades, sometimes even hundreds of years.
Wow.
So again, is
it working? How long have they been doing this?
Well, they've been doing it for a little while, but again, this is an ancient technique. This is the way they used to do it. So while, again, like we said, what's cool about some of these wineries in these regions like Campania is that they are both modern and ancient and sometimes at the same time. But you know what, Carmela? I think that's enough information. I think we should get to drinking. What do you say?
I'm ready.
And for you out there in listening land, this is your opportunity to get some participation points. You find a Greco di Tufo or any...
Go out now and find one.
Or any wine
like
that you've
Easter.
got. You can have a wine...
Go on a little hunt.
No, you can just find a wine that's sitting right beside you. You'll get participation points. You turn those participation points into stickers by just emailing me with your mailing address, and I will send them to you.
Have we been sending some out?
Tons.
Okay, good.
Join the crowd.
Okay.
All right, we'll be right back. Okay, we're back and we are ready to try our first wine. This is a Vinosìa Greco di Tufo, La Ariella. It's from Campania, Italy. It's a 2021. It was $16.99 at Mad Wine or Esquin, 13% alcohol, 100% Greco, and Vivino had a 3.8 rating. Carmela, let's look at the color.
Oh, it's nice. It's kind of dark. I would say it's a little dark. You don't think so?
No, I mean, I don't know. It's kind of middle. It's like lemony yellow colored, I think. Do you not think lemony?
It's kind of pineapple-y.
Okay, I like that. I like pineapple. Okay, what are you smelling?
I might be smelling a little pineapple,
Maybe.
actually. Maybe that's where that came from. What about you?
I think, I'm getting citrus and pineapple. I'm also getting a little bit of apple, I think.
Okay.
A little bit of orchard fruit.
Okay. Yeah, a little citrus.
It's sweet smelling to me.
That's why I'm kind of getting pineapple or even like maybe a little peach.
I'm getting a little bit of like a white flower maybe too.
Oh,
a little bit
like
floral.
a little lily. Ooh, yeah, it's nice. Nice bouquet.
You want to try it?
Yeah.
Oh, it's nice. It's super lemony.
Ooh,
really
yeah.
tart.
It's very tart.
It's almost like a lemonade.
It doesn't taste very. I mean, like, is it pretty low in alcohol? No, 18%. So,
18, jeez. Woo, they got the special one.
No, 13%. So, pretty typical.
It's a little on the higher end for a wine. I always think of white wines about 12 and a half.
Yeah, but I'm not finding it alcohol-y, are you?
No, it's got nice, again, like super acid. You can tell it's a very acid-driven wine. To me, this is a good balance too of something that could be kind of a summer sipper as well as a dinner wine, like good with seafood. I know we're not there yet, but it's, to me, the biggest flavor is lemon.
It's definitely there's pretty big mouthfeel on this.
It does have some
mouthfeel. I
mouthfeel.
feel like it's kind of lingering a bit, in a nice way. Like that's why I think it would be good with food.
Almost like medium bodied. It has some aspects maybe of a Sauvignon Blanc or even a Pinot Grigio, but it's bigger in the mouth.
I think so too.
But not heavy. It's not heavy or it like that.
But it's much more complex. I mean, like it's certainly not a thin wine. It's more intense, bolder for a white wine.
Yeah. Yes, I agree. I am getting a little bit of like apple. I think if I'm getting anything other than lemon, it's apple. Are you getting tropical fruit on it at all? Maybe a touch.
Maybe a little bit, almost like something though. It's like almost like an underripe pineapple.
Okay,
or
I
something
like that.
Like a little more tart, and sometimes that the syrup from the pineapple. Like if you get, or just like that extra juice.
Yeah,
kind of a little bit of that. A little bit of bitterness on it too. Are you getting bitterness?
Yeah, almost grapefruity in its bitterness, but not, more lemony in the taste.
Yeah, I like it.
What food would you pair with this? We kind of gave a little bit of a hint. But
I really think it would be great with like cracked crab. That's the first thing that came to mind was that you could just have like or even crab cakes.
Ooh, that would be good.
Yeah, but I mean, you could do
You know what I'm going to say?
Fish and chips,
but also spaghetti con spaghetti con vongole with clams.
Yeah.
Spaghetti and clams would be beautiful.
Yeah, but with all of those things, but spaghetti con vongole would be really good.
Yeah, and this is like a great Feast of the Seven Fishes wine.
Yes, good Christmas Eve wine. Yeah,
we'll go with a lot of different kinds of fish. Fried fish, fresh fish, fish. I can almost say it. Sushi. Be awesome with sushi.
Be really nice. Yeah, no, this is a very versatile wine.
I think so. But more on the fish end and seafood end of things. Maybe vegetarian foods too. Nice. Okay, well, we're going to rate this. So as a reminder, on our rating scale, we rate on a scale of 1 to 10. We don't give half points. 7 and above means that we'd buy it. 4 and below means we don't like it. We're going to pour it down the sink. 5 or a 6 means we're going to drink it, and we'll probably finish it, but we're not going to buy it. So Carmela, what rating would you give to this wine?
So I'm going to start with a 7. Like it's a solid wine. I definitely buy it. I'm enjoying it, but I want to see how the other one goes.
I don't know if we've been doing this too long, but I feel exactly the same way. So right off the bat, though, when we give it a 7, that means we would buy it. We like it. It's a good wine. We would be happy to buy this and serve it.
I also want to say it's a funny shaped bottle for a white wine. It's not as sleek.
You kind of made fun of it.
I did. I said it was kind of chunky.
Wow.
I'm sorry.
That's not a nice thing to say.
But it's just not like it's not.
Chonky. I would say more chonky.
I don't know what that means, but...
Are you skep about chonky?
I don't know.
We haven't said skep all episode.
No, but I'm a little bit skep of you tonight.
Are you skep of the bottle shape?
I am a little bit. It almost came out and I thought it was a red wine. And I was like, hey, you've been talking about white wine all night.
Skep.
So it's a little skep.
Yeah.
But it's just kind of not a sleek white wine bottle.
Okay, we're going to take a break and try our last wine.
All right.
Okay, we are back and we are ready to try our last wine. This is the Feudi di San Gregorio. Feudi is spelled Feudi. Feudi di San Gregorio Greco di Tufo from Irpinia, Italy. It's a 2020. This was $25.99. So it's just above our $25 price point, but just like $9 more than the last one. So, a considerable distance, I think, between the two. Also got it at Mad Wine or Esquin. 12.5% alcohol, so a little lighter. 100% Greco. And this one got a 91 from Wine Enthusiast, a 90 from Robert Parker, a 90 from James Suckling, but also a 3.8 from Vivino, so the same Vivino score.
Is it out of 4?
Out of 5.
Oh, okay.
And so you mentioned something about the color.
I think it's a little lighter, but it's very similar.
It is lighter. It's for sure lighter.
Yeah, but definitely similar look.
More straw, though, than lemon, I think.
Yeah.
And almost champagne colored, I would say.
Yeah, I think so.
And to me, it looks like it has more viscosity.
Ah, yeah. Even the smell feels a little thicker.
Yes.
Is that weird? Feels a little thicker. The
Smell is a feeling.
I guess. Oh.
Smell is a feeling. I feel like there's a song in there.
There's a song coming on. You know, Wheezy from Toy Story.
I feel a song coming on. Yeah, it's got similar like lemony, but I would say more melon or peach to it.
Okay, yeah. I think you might be right. The melon is kind of interesting.
I was getting a little cantaloupe or something on it.
Yeah, it's a little bit, you know what? Cantaloupe is actually really coming through.
You like that?
I'm not sure I would have picked that out, but it has a little bit of, it actually smells a little sweeter to me.
Really?
I think so.
I think it's, okay, I don't think it smells sweeter, but to me, it's got a little bit of honey or something on it, and I think this is the lees.
Ah, okay.
Because it smells a little, it almost smells a little creamy.
Right, like a little, and that's, I feel like creamy things sort of cut some of the tang or citrus that sometimes you get.
For sure.
Yeah, so.
I'm also smelling a little bit of like bitterness, stone or something.
But I'm getting a little bit of flower on this one too.
When I swirl it, I'm getting a little bit, sometimes they say the Sauvignon Blanc will have a little cat pee.
Ooh.
I'm getting a little bit of that.
That's not awesome, but I know it's a thing.
Okay, well, let's try it.
Okay.
That's a really nice wine.
Ooh, there's less bitterness on it.
Less bitterness. It's also like the first one is really nice wine, but it's super, like it attacks you with the acidity and the lemon.
Right.
This one is more, it's more balanced.
A little smoother. Yeah, it's a little less like the other one did feel like it was lingering in your mouth. It was a little more like it was like a punch you in the face white wine almost.
But not oaky.
No.
Just with the flavor.
Right.
I feel like, now I might be imagining this, but I feel like the lees, like letting it settle on the lees is giving it a little bit more roundness and a little bit more mellowness. Like, oh, it's time to she agreed, ladies and gentlemen.
Yeah,
she agreed.
Ding, ding, ding.
Thank you. Don't you feel like that?
Yeah, it's very nice. And it does have some citrusy notes for sure.
Totally. It's very lemony.
Not as grapefruit, not as like pithy, or I just feel like it's smoother. When you have that pith, it almost has a little bit of like a bite to it that this one doesn't have.
It does, but I will say I like this kind of little bit of bitterness on the end. A little bit of stone or something.
I think that's when it's really good with food.
I agree. But like, don't you get that little bit of like slate, like you're licking a stone at the very end? And I like that taste.
Okay.
Almost
Rocks
like
for dinner.
Yeah, almost like seashell. There's almost a little
ocean, saline to
There's
it.
almost a little saline in it.
Yeah.
Don't you get that a little bit?
A little bit. Yeah, that's interesting. The seashell. I can get behind that.
Yeah. Oh, well, there you go. What food would you have with this?
I think you would do a lot of the same. I'm not thinking that we would do much different. I'm trying to think if there's anything I would add to what we said.
I think I would add like chicken. I think I would add white meat to this.
Okay. Would you do pork?
Yeah, if it was, depending on how it was made, but I kind of feel like this might be a little bit more versatile. Again, the first wine is fantastic. The Vinosìa is excellent. I would just say this one has it's a little bit tamed down. It's a little bit, it almost has, again, more balance or,
How about, would you have it with Cavallo?
Definitely.
With
It'd be
cheeses.
so good with the cheese of the horse. It'd be so good.
Pepper horse cheese?
Jesus, yes, I would have it with. No, I think this is a very good wine. I think it's very versatile. Stinky cheeses.
It'd be I think it'd be a great appetizer wine. It'd be a great for anybody. I'm just saying it'd be kind of fun to have with an appetizer, like with a charcuterie. Be delicious.
I think so too. What rating are you give this wine?
You know what? I think I'm going to give it an 8.
God, we're like on the same page.
We're like married.
Oh my God. And so easy, which one are you finishing tonight?
Wait, so you're doing an 8?
Yeah, totally. I'm 100% with you. I think we are
Wow.
I think we're having exactly the same experience.
Oh my goodness.
I love it. What wine are you finishing tonight?
I think we're going with the Feudi.
The Feudi di San Gregorio. But again, hard to go wrong with either.
Right.
And what I would say is Greco di Tufo is a great wine.
Winner. It's a winner.
It's a great wine.
And it's good to know that there's one that's a little more like if you're on a budget or if you're just looking for like a Tuesday night white wine,
or
you
more
could
of a
go with that first one.
Yeah, the Vinosìa, I think it's a little bit more of a sipping by the pool wine.
Right.
Really nice summer sipper. You're on the boat, whatever.
Oh.
A lot of
On
people
the boat? Yeah,
A lot of people don't get to go
our
on a boat. Whatever. We don't have a boat.
Yeah.
I don't.
I looked at him like, wait, what?
Your dad has a fishing boat. Well, actually, it's your brother's, but it doesn't matter.
Well, no,
That's a
it's
whole
actually
nother
my
story.
dad's. But
Okay.
anyway,
It doesn't matter.
it doesn't matter. Why did you bring that up?
Because saying on the boat is a very privileged thing to say.
That we don't ever do.
No, I don't even like boats. I get seasick.
Oh, wow.
Okay, let's talk about the taste profiles expected from Greco di Tufo.
Okay.
The general are aromas of lemons, pears, toasted almonds, and flowers.
Okay.
Flavors of citrus, white fruit, stone fruit, as well as pear, apple, lemon, apricot, and peach.
Oh, everything.
Yeah, crushed stone and a slightly bitter aftertaste. So we got all of that.
Yeah.
The Vinosìa, the winery, I didn't have a lot of reviews on it. So the winery just says powerful aromas of apricot, peach, and citrus on the nose.
Apricot, yeah.
While on the palate, mineral and floral notes are framed by apple and pear flavors. They didn't talk about, it was lemony to me.
Well, the first part said it was lemony.
But just aromas. I thought the taste was super
I feel like
lemony.
it's very lemony. Yeah.
Okay, the Feudi, the winery says the perfume is intense and persistent. One can recall on the nose clear sensations of fruit. This is so weird.
Since they're feeling it too.
Obviously, this is translated. For the taste, one immediately perceives the broad acidity and spicy minerality typical of vine cultivated in Tufo. Immediately following, there are soft notes of balsamic. This is kind of odd. I don't think so. Okay. Wine enthusiast said spring blossom, wild herb, and cantaloupe aromas waft out of the glass.
Yeah, it's for
I
sure.
did not read that. I swear to God, this is. I'm looking
amazing,
at this.
but I'm getting that now too.
Yeah, bright and polished, the tangy palate offers ripe pear, Meyer lemon, and a hint of almond, alongside a mineral vein of saline. So I think we are agreeing with wine enthusiast.
Nice work.
Roberto Parker said bright and citrusy wine that offers grapefruit, white almond, and minty pear. The wine is lean and fresh and full of the kind of taut tension that makes it a real pleasure to drink, like a good marriage. No, I don't know. Guess what he says?
Cantaloupe.
A plate of spaghetti con vongole would do well. That's what he said. That's what he said.
Are you guys friends?
No, I don't. I actually do not agree with Robert Parker most of the time. He's the guy to me.
I think you become friends.
No, he created the whole sensation around really oaky California cabs. Like he's the one who started that. And
do you like anybody on that? Gives their ratings.
I like Antonio Galloni from Vinosìa, and I tend to like the Wine Spectator raters a lot. I think they're quite good. Jeb Janik I kind of like. Jancis Robinson I kind of like. So, everybody has their own taste. It's fine. If you disagree with us, we always say this. If you disagree with us, it's totally fine.
Okay. We can still be friends.
Why can't we be friends?
Oh, boy.
Anyway, we think it's fine. We just want you to use us as a reference point. Again, if you may say, these guys, I don't agree with their taste at all. So then you know what you like and what you don't like. It's totally fine. All right, Carmela, it's time for us to go. But before we do, we want to thank you very much for listening to us. And if you haven't had the chance to do so yet, now would be the perfect time to follow or subscribe to our podcast. And also a great time to leave us a really nice rating and review. That would really help us grow listeners, and we really appreciate it and your feedback. We also love to hear from you about wines you want us to taste and review, or just shoot the shit, shoot the shit. So you can leave a message for us on our website, thewinepairpodcast.com. Join our email newsletter there. And you can also send us an email at joe@thewinepairpodcast.com. And with that, we're going to sign off. So thank you once again. We'll see you next time. And as we like to say, life is short, so stop drinking shitty wine. Ciao.
Ciao, ciao. Arrivederci.